Tonight on A New Thing Live, we're talking about loving your neighbor in spite of our differences. And helping us kick it off is Sharesse Warfel, a collaborative author of the book, The Gospel in Full Color. Plus, it's the neighborhood trainer, Adrian Ceja, sharing on how to love yourself by doing this thing called fitness. And it all starts right now on A New Thing Live.
Now, is Sonia able to get in there? Let me call her and see, because I don't see her in there. Call her really quick. Hello, are we live? Are we live? Did I miss the intro video? There we go. Did we do an intro video? We couldn't see. Somehow I got bumped off. So I want to welcome you. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to A New Thing Live. My name is Cindy Galley, and I am the host of this fun, new, and obviously wild and crazy show. This is a new show we just launched in October, and we have had so much fun. We've had such a good time. This show is all about doing something new. And every day, several times a day, each one of us have an opportunity to do something new. And so for me in October, this show is new, and I get to do something new every week. When you see me on Monday, it's something new. We have new guests. And then obviously this was probably the first time that I actually got booted off, like completely booted off. And then it was telling me that I had no internet and that I couldn't connect to this site. So thank you so much for hanging on and holding tight. You know, this is a lot of fun. Hi. Hello, Peggy. I see you on there. That's my cousin. She's so cute. Instead of the Devil Wears Prada, her little name is the Devil Wears Chanclas. For those of you that know what chanclas is, those are house shoes or slipper shoes. So hello, Peggy, and everyone who's joining. This is an interactive show, so say hey, say what's up. Tell us where you're visiting from. We usually do have people in so many different states, and we have been having a blast. So we have a great show lined up for you today. Let me just share with you what's going on just right now in the world. I'll go ahead and bring that up here. So I'm also at the same time, I'm also on, let me see. Let me just say thank you all. I'm going to just talk to IG real quick. So y'all join YouTube. Our show is live. It's on now. Join us on YouTube. Hello there, Miss Denise. Join us on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and do a search for A New Thing Live, and then you will find us there. So as soon as I end, then just jump right on over to YouTube, and then you can see the whole show because we are live right now. All right. Thanks for joining. Okay. And then I'm going to probably do the same to, I'm so sorry. You're just watching everything in action right now. Can we just be real? Yes, we can. And then I'm going to go live from Cindy. Can you get me on live on there? Thank you, love bud. Okay, I am here and I am present. So it looks like one of our guests is still trying to get on, and that would all be me, due to me. So can we help Adrian get on? Let's see, maybe once I'm off of here, then you can just jump on, because it says that his device isn't connected. Oh, the joys. Oh, the joys. All right. So this is a new week. Today marks the first day of February. And so February is here. I cannot believe. Can anyone just take a minute and go, where is the year going already? 1/12 of the year has already gone. Like we said bye-bye to January, and we are now in February. And I'm freaking out because March is just around the corner. My goodness. So, but we do have a wonderful show lined up for you today. Before we go there, I'm going to go ahead and hello, everyone joining from IGTV. Let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and end this, and then we'll turn it around. So,
Oh, gosh.
We'll do one more time. There we go. Okay. Today is National Chocolate Day, and I am a lover of almost everything chocolate. And so I'm super, super duper excited. The chocolate that I'm going to be having as soon as the show is ending, because I have to wash my hands, is from none other than See's Candy. And, you know, See's Candy has stayed in business. So I work right next to See's Candy. This place, since day one of the pandemic, has remained open. I mean, there's probably a few days where they have been off, but every time I'm driving into work, I would see a line. One day there was a line all the way from their door to my door. And I was like, y'all are serious hardcore See's Candy lovers. So my favorite See's Candy is a dark chocolate, which I don't think you can see, but it's dark chocolate. And thanks to my friend Michelle, who I call Shelly, and inside is a raspberry cream. It is so good. It is so good. So anyway, today is National Chocolate Day. So it gives you free pass to go ahead and have whatever chocolate you want. And now, if you have health issues, I'm not saying to do that. But, you know, Snickers, Reese's, peanut butter cup. I mean, those are my favorite. I'm really a chocolate peanut butter person. Mm-hmm. But with the dark chocolate, I love the acai berry inside there. And I love the raspberry, that blend with that dark chocolate. It is so good, so good, so good. So today you can get your dark chocolate for sure. Do that today. All right, this month, so that's today. But this month, February, is the month of love. And so whether you're single, shout out to all the singles out there. This needs to be the month where we love ourselves, or we love our neighbors. We love everyone around us. We have more to give because it's just us. But for those of you that are married, let's put that Valentine's Day back up. It is a month of love, February. We want to make sure that you love your spouse, you love your families, those people, your bosses, your coworkers. You know, if there's one thing that I've noticed, and I am seriously having some really hysterical wardrobe malfunctions. Oh my goodness. It's all fun. So here's the thing. I love these big sleeves, but it's like, I don't know what it's doing to the rest of me, but the sleeves are fun. So if there's one thing that I've, you know, and I'm sure a lot of you can attest with, you know, just with everything going on in the pandemic, is, you know, some of us are losing our loved ones, people that we have worked with, people that we've known for years, family members. And so if there's one, let this month be the month that all that like hatred and that spew needs to go and needs to leave. Hi, Micah. Are you in Hawaii yet? You have to tell me. That's my nephew. He's saying hello on Instagram Live, and they were en route from crazy. So right now, because of the pandemic, everything's switching. So they originally had a flight. They were going to do a 5-hour layover. We were trying to figure out and plan how I could pick up In and Out right around the corner from LAX, go take it to them. And then last night, they found out as they were checking in that their flight had changed. So they had to change their plans. They only ended up having a 1-hour layover in LA. So they ended up having to drive to Chicago last night, stay in a hotel. I mean, crazy, crazy, crazy. So, hi, Eric. Oh, my goodness. Is that my Eric from Peru? Oh, my goodness. Hi, Eric. Good to have you, hermano. Hello, Raylene. So they ended up 1-hour layover in LAX, and off they went to Hawaii. So my nephew's saying hi. I'm imagining that he's already there. Back to the month of love. So just with everything going on, you know, I just went to a funeral, or actually a memorial service, to some dear, dear, precious friends of mine who lost their dad to COVID. And then I will be attending another service this week to a precious colleague and pastor that I worked with for years. I've known him and his family for years. And so my heart and my prayer is this month, we can do it. You can do it. We have the ability to walk in love, to link arms with humanity. Now is the time. I say, let everything go. Everything that used to be yesteryear, everything that used to be last year, it's old news. It's done. In fact, anything that happened prior to this very moment is old. It's history. And so whatever we need to do to work on us, to work on ourselves, to work on releasing forgiveness, to work on letting it go. Let it go. Let it go. It's, I know it's so easy. It's easier said than done, but we need to let things go. And if you need to talk to somebody, if you need to talk it out, then do that. But let 2021 be the year where we experience so much love with people, with our colleagues, with our co-workers, with our family members, or some family members that I talk to and they're saying, I'm having issues with my family. Hello, I see somebody watching from New Mexico. Welcome, New Mexico in the house, Pomona. Peggy, thank you. My glasses are new. That's a new thing, and I'm going to tell you all about it in just a minute. But yes, you are right. Time is still standing still because of COVID. And she says she hasn't worn real shoes since June. Can I just tell you that during this season, I will sometimes put on my real cute shoes, my high heels, my booties, whatever it is, it's going to keep my feet in, because what I don't want my feet to do during this season is I don't want them to grow out. So I know if you keep something tight around them, you keep them wrapped up, that's what I'm doing. So if you haven't done that, do it. And then it just keeps you in the flow of wearing your heels. And then you actually just feel a little bit like better about your day because you got your heels on. So do that. But yes, for the most part, it is my slippers, or it is every now and then like my little flip-flops. But I do challenge myself to, today needs to be the day where you actually put on some heels so that your feet can actually be brought in and not just get all wide, because they have the ability to do that. So the month of love, that's just going to be my challenge to you. And remind me to even put that on our website. Like this month, it's going to be a love challenge. So we're going to talk about the love challenge next week, because I really feel with all my heart that this is the time. Now is the time. There's no time like the present. We know all of the sayings. But can this be the year? Do not let 2020 be in vain. And I say, if COVID has made its way around the globe, but one thing that it cannot and will not defeat is the love that we have for each other. So that is the love challenge. And then last but most certainly not least, and I wanted to talk about this a little bit, is this month is Black History Month. Black History Month. So whether you are Black, whether you're mixed like myself, let this be a month where you take time. We saw all of what happened, last year. We were so brokenhearted with everything that was going on and all the racial divide. And then, you just sit here thinking about, Dr. King and him saying he had a dream. And then you almost felt like we took so many strides back, and it's like, what happened? And again, I feel a lot of that if we just did some inner reflection and just made that decision to love regardless of what people look like, regardless of how people treat you. I was in a conversation. I was on a call a couple of weeks ago, and there was someone on there very upset, very angry about how he'd been treated, and he had been treated horribly, and he shared some really heartbreaking things that I've never experienced as a woman of color. I've never experienced those things. And my heart just went out to him. But we together, we really can make a difference. We really can make a difference. I think the standing up and saying, okay, well, the Black Lives Matter. Yes, Black lives do matter. I'm Black, so I feel like I matter. But I have to say, I feel like everybody, there are other minorities as well. There's the Asian community, there's the Latino community, there's the Filipino community, there's so many, there's the Middle Eastern, there's so many communities, and we all make up mankind. We all make up the human race. And so if there would just be a way that we could all, I know it's going to be work, because it is not easy. This kind of a thing that we have to work through is painful. And it is one of the reasons I'm so excited about tonight's special guest, because I believe she's going to bring not just insight, but also we're going to talk about some of these hard conversations that we don't always have, because you don't always want to have them. But clearly, after what we saw last year, these conversations need to be had. So I'm so excited to have Sharesse on with us. Well, here she is, Miss Sharesse. How are you? Well, you jumped up. You surprised me.
I'm doing good.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's so good to have you with us. Your book, is this yours or is yours? Oh, so both Kiri and I are here, and we're going to bring her on a bit. But the author, she's actually a collaborative author, which I love. The Gospel in Full Color, Miss Sharesse Warfel. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. It's so neat to see you all the way in LA, holding the book.
Yes,
real.
Yes, cool. I know. It is so good. So many beautiful things you said in here. And I have to say, I haven't read all the other collaborative authors, but the fact that it's like a daily devotional thing that we can dive in, and it's short enough to where this can be something that you just bite off maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. But it really, like you said here, like the book says, it focuses on what am I trying? Oh, the reflections. It's these reflections, but they're based on the Bible. And I think that's so key, because you can have reflections that are only just out of opinions or out of your own experience. And I think all of that is good. But to me, it's got to start on the word. It has to start with, what does God's word say? Right. So talk to us a little bit about, how did this whole project come to be? And it seems like it was fairly recently written, because one of the authors in here, George Floyd is mentioned in here. And I said, okay, well, then this book was not 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. How did this book come to be? And congratulations on it. I mean, well done. Well
Thank
done.
You. So honestly, this book came very quickly. Tyler Fuller, he is a dear friend, and this was kind of his brainchild. And he kind of reached out to a few of us. We all attend various campuses of Cross Point Church down here in Northwest Florida. And he reached out to a few of us and kind of just shared his heart of what he was wanting to do with this and how he was feeling about what was going on in our nation at the time with race relations. But we wanted to make sure that we kind of got what the Word of God says about race and diversity out to people. Because it's like what you said, I can give my opinion all day long, but as believers, our main goal is to be able to turn people back to the Word of God.
Yes.
And Bible, how this, can translate into your everyday life. And so that's kind of what we each took. It's kind of funny. We never actually physically all got together. We never got on a Zoom call. We just wrote our own stories. We picked our own verses and we just sent them in. And Tyler is just amazing. Him and Melissa, they edited the whole thing, got it all together, and we just submitted our stories. There's also a podcast that we recorded. So
yes,
there's that also.
Okay.
And, you can just search Unremarkable Conjecture. I'll have to like send that out to you guys, and it's located in there. But it was just such a neat opportunity. And this just again, because I haven't actually met everyone who wrote this book, like in person.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, like, you know, how did all that happen? So, but did you all at least get to meet like digitally or on Zoom or no? Okay.
Nope. We each just sent in, I think it's just, we all kind of had the same idea, and the common goal was just to tie our real stories and our real experiences back to the Word of God, and showing people that it's scripture. It is in the Bible about how we are to come together, how we are to love our neighbor, how we are to, you know, be like Christ. And real stories just makes it that much more real to everybody.
That is so good. Wow. Well, congratulations, you know, because again, I mean, just the whole heart behind this, you know, I think it's important for people of every ethnicity, you know, to be able to even just read something like this. I'm excited because we are going to give 2 of your books away on this particular episode. Yes. But again, it's just things that make you reflect. And we don't always do that. You know, a lot of times we just go from day to day, and you just go through your routine, and you know, you have a situation, and then you sometimes base your analysis or your assumption based on that one experience. Or you may have 10 experiences, and then you begin, and without doing any backward with digging, without doing any, let me just take a look in what's going on here, you know. And so sometimes you may have a feeling towards a racial group or something along those lines, and not even understand why, because you haven't done the work, you haven't taken the time to reflect, you know. So like growing up for you, your family, are you mixed? Are you like, what was your upbringing like, and what were some of the things you experienced growing up?
Sure. So I get that question a lot. Am I mixed? And I mean, I think every African American could say we're mixed at some point. But do I have a Caucasian parent? No, both of my parents were Black.
Okay.
I'm sure my mother is mixed. Her parent, she has a white parent and a Black parent, but no. I grew up in it's New Mexico, but a predominantly at the time Caucasian community. Went to Caucasian schools.
Yes.
And grew all my friends. Mainly, I was kind of always one of few non-white people, and I kind of wrote about that in my 2 short stories. And so that was just kind of my upbringing, and I found out at a young age what prejudice was like, just from a not nice person in elementary school. But it's that same person ended up being a really close friend of mine come high school. But yeah, that was just kind of my growing up, was just in those spaces, in white spaces. And it wasn't until I got to high school, because there's just one high school in my town, that I kind of got to meet other people from the other schools, other sides of town. I grew up on kind of, it sounds so bad to say it, a nicer side of town, I guess. So when I got to high school, it was kind of a mind-blowing experience for me to now be so immersed with all kinds of people. But, you know, I had moments of like, wow, did somebody really just call me that? You know, or man, these people don't like me because I look like this, or I can't really get in with this group. And because of, you know, the color of my skin, because I am fair, I almost feel like it was a challenge in itself, because, you know, at times you felt like you were too Black to hang out with white people, and then yet you weren't Black enough to hang out with Black people. So for a long time, I struggled with my identity. You know, I was raised in church, I knew it, but I still struggled for a long time there, just kind of trying to find where I fit. I say that acting was my first love. I could play a role real easy. So,
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
hear you. Not so much on the acting, because I feel like I'm an awful actress, but uh, you know, my mom is Latina and my dad is Black, and then of course, you know, we have our roots take us back to, you know, some kind of a something with a slave owner.
Sure.
You know,
You know what? Yeah, I have this terrible joke, and it's probably not good. When people ask me my mix, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there was some horrible slave owner that did something really mean to one of my ancestors and I got here. So
yeah, I mean, my stepmother's so gracious. She did, you know, a lot of the work, and she said, "Oh, this is who your great grandfather was, and this is who, you know," and I so appreciated that, because it really made me reflective. I actually even cried when just, you know, seeing the name of my, you know, my great grandmother, and just wondering, you know, what it was like to, you know, have given birth to, at that time, you know, a mixed baby, you know, Black and white, and she did not marry, and, you know, he married another person. Like, he clearly had an entire family tree with another woman, and I just wept for her. I cried. I thought, wow, how hard was that for her? What did she go through? What did her day-to-day look like? How was she treated? Was she mistreated? You know, because even as a woman now who has a lot of opportunity, and so thankful for, you know, our forefathers that have gone before us and have really just paved the way. I mean, you see these Rosa Parks, you see these people that just did not move. They took their stance and they stood firm. I don't know if I could have done that in that day, you know, because I feel like even as a young adult, late teens or young adult, I was someone would say, don't do that. You know, oh, okay. And I was definitely more submissive, you know, oh, okay. And now that I'm older, of course, you know, things happen. You realize you need to use your voice. But there were times in my life, I would say probably from the ages of maybe 18 to 22, 23, I really didn't use my voice. And it wasn't until I started, you know, being discipled in the word and understanding that I had authority, and how Jesus said, behold, I give you authority to trample over serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. And you are the head and not the tail. And you are above and not beneath. And all of these things that I didn't know before. Really, it was my growing in the word that built my confidence in who I was as a woman of color and everything that entailed. So that when I turned 27, is like, this is who I am. I'm Black, I'm Mexican, you know, I got crazy curly hair. If I want to wear it curly, then I'm going to wear it curly. And, you know, even some of the promo video that was part of tonight's promotion for this show, it was these girls, you know, laughing and pointing at this girl with big hair. And it was a little bit painful to watch, because oh, girl, your hair is gorgeous. It's beautiful. But I picked it, as painful as that might be. First of all, I wanted people to see this is real. You know, I've gone through that. I went through that in my 20s, and every now and then I have people that knew me back then that are still in my life, and they'll kind of tease. Remember when we used to pretend we would pull a big Bible out of your hair because it was so big, you know? And it was just those kind of things. But that was, you know, and like you said, there were those times where I wouldn't call myself a great actress, but I had to put on a smile. Right. Like to say, and almost like to say, this is okay. Right. I didn't use my voice at that time because I was still trying to figure out who I was. And it wasn't until the Lord said, this is who you are. Everything about you was intentional. Right. You're everything. The type of hair, the fact that it's curly, and when it rains, all of these things. And so I had to come into myself, but it wasn't until I had that revelation, you know, from my time, you know, with the Lord. And so now I know you're a mom, you know, and so, you know, what are your conversations like with your children? Because I do feel like that's important also. You know, what we teach our children about, you know, racism, about injustices, about inequality, or being treated differently, or have they experienced any of that?
Sure. So when we kind of lived in a bit of a bubble when we lived in New Mexico, and we moved here to Florida, Northwest Florida, about 2 years ago. And my daughter, who is 18 now, she probably came face to face with some, racial issues. Oh, there's my little crew.
Yes.
Some a little bit. And, obviously you look at my boys and you got to look closely to know that I'm there. But they've definitely taken on my husband's features. What it kind of goes back to what you were just saying, Cindy, finding our identity in Christ. And I think once I was able to really, truly recognize like who I was in Christ and identify myself as a child of God first, I then kind of passed that on to my kid. Yes, to my daughter, you are obviously a Black girl, yes, but you are a child of God first.
Yeah.
And our town here in Florida did, there was a march, a Black Lives Matter rally kind of a thing. And it was really important for me to go, but it was even more, great that my husband wanted to go. And then we took our boys. And this was all during, quarantine. And so they hadn't really been out the house yet. And, it was important for me for that they saw it. But the posters we took, the shirts we had on, everything pointed back to Jesus. I sit here and I can preach, about this kind of like the things obviously divide us, or I can point everything back to Christ. And that's just what I've taught my kids. We're out here because there are people not treating people who have brown skin nicely, but we should all be treating everybody nicely because everyone's a child of God. And so I look at my boys who, in my opinion, I look at them and I say they're biracial. Somebody else might see them and say that they're white. And I just tell them, you're Makai or you're Trey or you're Nevaeh. You're a child of God who happens to be brown or who happens to be tan or whatever. And I think I've just made that a point. I'm going to choose to teach my kids to identify as that first. So that's so that's just a personal choice. Yeah.
That's so good. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking, wow, if every parent could do that very thing, if every parent would do that, then we wouldn't have the issues that we're having right now. If every parent taught their child that every person is important, doesn't matter the color of your skin, it doesn't matter the shade, even the shade of brown, because I have experienced a little pushback even from people of color as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that sounds terrible. And that's such a hard thing to talk about, but colorism is just as much a thing as, prejudice and racism. And, it's troubling. And I've had to share this with people. And I saw, in your first email to me that we're going to be real. So I have honestly probably faced more pushback from my own community than I have any other community. Yes. So with that message, I have just made a conscious effort that, the only constant in my life is Jesus Christ. So I would rather subscribe and I would rather get on that team and get on that train and that understanding. Everything, so it just moves and at one moment you're this is cool. The next minute, this is cool. And everything is so fleeting and so temporary. I would rather just be on the side of Jesus Christ and promote that, because that is not temporary. That is not fleeting. He is constant. And I would just rather stay there. So.
Amen. Oh my goodness. It's so good. Yes. And there's so many songs about it. It's like, what are we singing? If you want to go back to Dionne Warwick, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing, and then you got the Beatles, all you need is love. And yet, do we know what that word really means? Because, right. I feel like the love is so conditional, but that's not love. That's not love. In fact, all of the things that 1 Corinthians 13 says that love is, it's patient, it's kind. I feel like I've never seen such nastiness as I have in these last, I would say the last year, maybe, people towards each other, people that were friends, love is patient, love is kind. It doesn't behave rudely. It suffers long. It doesn't rejoice in evil.
Slow to anger.
Slow to anger. Hello. And even that long suffering, love suffers long and it's kind. So to me, it's like you're kind even while you're suffering. And that's hard. I mean, I'm not saying that any of this is easy, and I'll be the first to say there are times where I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But then it goes back to no, that's not how you don't respond that way, because it's not who you are, and you're not representing the kingdom. You're not representing Jesus. Right. You're not representing, the one who gave his life for me. And then when I look at all that he went through, and I'm reading either one of the Gospels, they so accurately depict what he went through. I mean, sometimes I'm a snobbing mess because he went through this for every one of us, for us to have reconciliation to him and to each other. And so one of the things I really love and appreciate even is just the title. It's the gospel in full color. I think that was just so brilliant. I don't know who came up with that. But it's a beautiful book, and I haven't gotten into your actual book yet. So what I am gonna do is Miss Kiri is here, and Miss Kiri. I'm gonna have her come on. Yeah, she's gonna join this conversation because we were both talking, and we've gone through those seasons where come on in, Grandma. Can I just share? But I'm gonna have you get on in here. Can you get in here too?
Hi guys. Hello. Hi Sharesse. How are you?
My friend. Hey girl.
Hello. So a little context of our relationship for everybody to know. Me and Sharesse actually grew up in the same town in New Mexico, and she was mentor, hairstylist, someone I could just vent to. She was everything.
I love that.
Yes, it's just amazing. And you know what? In your while you guys were talking, I was just trying to take notes because there were so many points that I was like, oh yeah, wait till I get on here. Oh yes. And so to start off, I know you were saying when you grew up in a same small town, you were always the Black girl in the classroom, the token. And I obviously same experience. And I feel like, now that I've gotten older and I'm able to reflect back, I don't know if you agree, but I feel it was almost like an identity crisis. I feel like we went through portions where we were like, who am I? And I'm Black. Like, I know my mom's watching and she'll attest 100%. So, and I was like, I had many people, I shouldn't say many, there were quite a couple different girls growing up who didn't think I was Black enough because I spoke white, which was kind of like, how do I speak white? Yeah. And then some of my friends, they would always say, oh, you're like the whitest Black girl I've ever met, which was like, how are you complimenting me? Because this is an offensive thing that you're saying. And so because of that, I really was like, well, like, I know I'm Black, but like, who am I? So throughout my years, I mean, it's funny to look in my pictures. I'm like, my clothes are always changing. My hair is always changing. Like, who I hung out with always changed because I just didn't know like who Kiri actually was. And then kind of getting into what you talked about in I'm not racist. Girl.
Well, I like that too.
So when I actually got old enough to have that backbone to actually tell people, what you're saying to me is offensive, they got offended. And so because they got offended, I stopped standing up for myself because I don't want to offend anybody. I was just, I'm just letting you know, like what you said to me, that's not okay. That's not an okay way to think. That's not
And we have to be able to have conversations with people.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And I don't think everything has to be yelling. Everything doesn't have to be in your face where you're seeing the spit fly out because people are so upset. We need to be able, whether you're a believer or not, we really need to be able to have these conversations. And it's okay, I think it's okay as long as it's honoring and you're honoring that person. and you're talking respectfully, you're still honoring that they are made out of flesh and blood just like you. I think it's okay to have those conversations and say, you know, can I just chat with you for a quick minute? You know, when you said that was a little, I just want, you know, it didn't come out maybe, and I know that wasn't your heart, you know, but it came out really a little bit offensive or a little bit harsh or abrasive. And I didn't know if you knew that, but I just wanted to let you know. I think, especially if they're friends of yours, like you're saying, no, you were younger. And again, a lot of the stuff that I went through too, I was a young adult and I didn't have my voice yet as well. So, but unfortunately, some of those things, those experiences, and of course, let's talk a little bit about dating someone that's not of my race. I went through a lot of racism there. And that was very heartbreaking, especially when it was in the context of being a believer. And so if you don't deal with those things, then you can start looking also, we as being people of color can also start looking and, assuming that you might have that with another person without giving them the benefit of the doubt, without walking in love with them first, without, you're just assuming that, that's going to happen again. And we really shouldn't do that. Like, we're setting ourselves up to fail if we do that with other people that represent that same experience that you went through with somebody of that same race.
And Kiri, you know, when you were talking about the identity crisis thing, I mean, I feel like a lot of that was just, you know, kind of buying into the stereotypes, because, you know, a lot of that's exactly what that was. You know, when people say you don't act black, well, I love to ask people, well, what is acting black? Or if they say, well, Sharesse, you act white or you talk white, well, please explain that to me. When you ask people to explain that, they can't, because it's just this stereotype that we have in our mind, what a black person should be like, or what a white person should be like. Or even, you know, earlier you said your aunt, you know, calls herself the devil who wears a chancla, what a Hispanic should be like. Like, there's these stereotypes that have been put into place and just perpetuated over years and over years. And many of us have, you know, played into that. And so that's what is ingrained in people, that this is how a black person should act, this is how a white person should act, and so on and so forth. And, you know, all of that, again, goes back to, if we would just all identify ourselves in Christ and take on his nature.
Woo!
Girl. How much better things could be. And everything else is just so fleeting. It just changes. Like, look at how styles change and hair changes and trends change. And I don't want to be trendy anymore. Like, I just want to be about the things of God. That's the only thing that's been consistent forever. So, because I think I had to kind of tell someone, you know, there's going to be a time in your life, and Kiri, you said this, you know, where your own people are going to turn on you. There might be a time in your life when another race is going to turn on you. So instead of having this allegiance to a race or a people group, why not just have an allegiance to the Father who will never turn on you, who has never failed you, who has, like, I've just gotten to that place in my life because I've been on both sides of it. And I'm just like, we're all human, you know, we're humans, we're all flawed by nature. And I can't put my trust and my hope and my identity in something that's so fickle and so fleeting. That's just a personal choice I have chose to make. And I had someone come on one time in my Instagram, my DMs, and tell me that was like a cop-out to kind of just go, well, I'm just going to say this and just Jesus. And I was like, how's that a cop-out? And of course they couldn't respond, like, but it's taking the easy way out. I was like, the easy way, then I'll take the easy way.
And, you know, also going back into, you know, your book, when you talked about that super uncomfortable encounter with you and that other lady at the women's empowerment luncheon. And the whole, she touched your hair. She actually touched your hair.
Well, it's funny because she asked, she says, can I touch your hair? So she asked to come into my personal space, but already had her hands deep in there.
Oh, yeah.
When I said no, she was so upset and so taken aback because I said no, but I'm like, you asked. So.
Right. And, you know, I just took before, you know, COVID, I took an inclusion and diversity class. And one of the things we talked about is microaggressions. You ever heard of that? So that is a perfect example of a microaggression.
Yeah.
It's just something you don't realize that you're doing, but you did it. But
Yeah.
what they told us about it is that it's important to talk about it. It's important to explain first one and the other side. Like her reaching into your hair, she didn't mean to offend you. She was just like, oh, I've never seen this before. But you also saying, please don't do that. You weren't trying to offend her.
Mm-hmm.
You were just explaining, I don't want you in my personal space. This is my personal space.
Right.
And just trying to understand, like, you asked the questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Thoughts. Because I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And that all, to me, that goes back to even just honoring and respecting, you know, because then that's just a lack of honor of your space and your permission. If you don't give permission to do that, then you shouldn't do that. And there have been awkward times where people are in your space, even not necessarily touching. But I remember once when I lived in LA, and I was probably in my early 40s, or maybe it was late 30s, I can't remember, but this lady was just staring and staring and staring, and it was like, okay, I would smile. I was at the laundromat, I'd smile, and then I'd, do my hair, and she just was like, just hard looking at me. I go, okay, I don't know what's going on, but finally she came up to me and she's like, I just had to know if that was a weave or was that your hair.
Oh,
girl,
I get that a lot.
that's my hair. And she goes, but I'm realizing now that's your hair. Yes, it is. You could have just asked me, sweet sister.
Whoa.
So, we definitely have these interesting, things, but, I'm just so thankful to you and to your team of writers, because this really is just a wonderful, and I'm looking forward to diving into what everyone else has to say. The beauty of it also is you can see it's truly a collaboration. I saw male, female, white, black, Hispanic. There's just a lot of different nationalities whose voices are heard on here. And to me, that's just a true representation of what it means to collaborate again. Because if we all look the same, of course we do have different experiences, but if we all look the same, then it's coming kind of from the similar perspective.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for bringing this. We're going to have a game at the very end after we bring on our personal trainer out here, but we are going to be giving away 2 of the viewers. One on YouTube and one on Facebook will be the lucky proud winner and soon to be owner of the Gospel in Full Color, written again by a wonderful team of people, a collaboration, including Miss Sharesse Warfel. And so Sharesse, we've so enjoyed having you on here. You are phenomenal. You're beautiful. You're talented. We've done projects with you in the past. I was talking with Kiri today about when we collaborated with you for Fashion Magazine.
Yeah.
I wish I would have thought about that soon enough to bring some of that up on here. But, we just want to say thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. If we can pull the information of her Instagram up on here, as well as her website. Yes, girl. So cute. You had so many cute pictures.
I love this little one in my kitchen.
Oh, so cute. I love it. SharesseWarfel.com is her website. Please take a look. Her IG, follow her. She's Sharesse Nicole. And again, we're super excited about just about giving these books away. We will definitely want to have you back.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line is we need to be rooted and grounded in Christ.
Absolutely.
He's the one that we get that identity from. And in that, if we could all identify with him first, then everything else would be so pretty. Such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick little shout out just to the team who wrote
this.
Yes.
And I just want to tell you guys what's really special about this is many co-authors as there are on here, only 3 of us were Black. The rest were all white. And just to hear their heart and their desire to want to kind of just grow and understanding and share that with people just blessed me. So shout out to the team. And thank you guys for having me. Kiri, it's so good to see you.
I know.
I know you both are so cute. Well, we will definitely have you back for sure. Thank you for putting your heart out here and just for taking the time to contribute to healing. Because there's there's healing to be done. There's healing to be had, but I know that it's possible. It definitely is possible, and it's with and through and because of people like you. So thank you for using your voice to bring healing to such a, it's a very tense topic. And, you know, we're still, as a nation, we're still walking through it, but I do believe there is light on the other side. We will come through it. Dr. King had a dream, and he had a dream for a reason. It was for that reason, because it's going to happen. And so we may have gone back a little bit, but that slingshot pulls back and then pew! I mean, it just takes. So we're definitely on the road to recovery, but thank you. Just for your time. We've enjoyed having you on here, Sharesse. Everybody, Sharesse Warfel.
Y'all's energy is awesome. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you. We love having you on here. All right. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Sharesse. All right. Well, that was some good conversation. I feel like we could have kept chatting about so much more, and we could probably even bring some others on here and just have a nice little dialogue in front of y'all. That would be a lot of fun. Okay. So, you know, this is the month of love. And so this, you know, the first part was really about loving your neighbor, which Sharesse did share so beautifully, you know, in her book. And then obviously what just a beautiful human that she is. But now we're about to get real gritty with how to love yourself through fitness and workout. So we're going to take a quick look at the neighborhood trainer, Adrian Ceja, before we bring him out on our set. Let's take a look at that clip.
Fitness goals is staying consistent.
2 to 3 times a week is a good start. Within those days, 20 to 30 minutes is perfect.
Keeping in mind that balance is also equally important.
If you exercise that much and really excessively, your rest time also has to match that.
Hello, Adrian. Are you here? Can we bring you out on the set?
Sorry about that. Yeah. How you doing? Thank you so much for having me. Yes, today now is the time to love yourself, and we're gonna do it through taking care of our health and our body, right?
Yes, are. And you know what? You have played an integral part of even myself. You know, you and a group of trainers at The Rock launched a discipleship or a class called Operation Healthy Lives. And that really was what kind of catapulted or activated, because I grew up athletic. I grew up doing sports. I grew up skiing. I was a runner. I was like, if it was softball, I was a coach. If it was flag football, I was a coach. I went to a private school. I loved running. I was a jogger. Even through graduate school, I was running. I loved to run. And then just you get older and then a little bit lazier. And then you start enjoying eating all the delicious food options that are out there. For me, primarily, which were pasta, tortillas, burritos, French fries, ranch dressing, cheese. And then I stopped working out. And then I will tell you, I went up to 220 pounds, 5'3", very unhealthy. And to date, I'm somewhere right about 180. You know,
awesome.
But yes, so OHL is what pushed me to see that I could do it in a healthy way, in a way that wasn't a diet, but it was a lifestyle. So I want to thank you and the team, and I've kept to it even during the pandemic. I've kept to it. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I love, or I should say, the team and I love how it's something that's simple. It's not like overwhelming. It's something that's sustainable for the long term. It's not a quick fix, you know? And then what I even love too is that it's something that you can implement right now. You're already buying groceries. You're already eating some of these certain foods, but it does instill this little bit of discipline element to it, because it really helps you to really have this flow of changing your mindset, if you will, you know, which is, I think, is a key element of this entire journey for people.
Yes. And I thought it was so interesting because I would never have known. I mean, you're uber fit, and I don't know much about all that, like, fat index and all of that.
Yeah.
But whatever, you probably have like next to zero, where I'm on the other side of the spectrum still as I'm working my way down.
Mhm.
But you did share with us, you shared with our class that you hadn't always been this way. You said there were times or a season of your life where you were a little bit on the chunky side. Can you talk to us about that? And what was it that caused you to shift and to say, this isn't who I want to be anymore? Because I think that would help a lot of us that are still either on that journey, or some people started and then they plateaued. Talk to us about that.
Gosh, I think that goes back into my childhood days. I can see pictures where I was a little bit, there was some more chunk in my face and just in my body and stuff. And really, when I started to exercise, it came from a place of just, I was feeling kind of lost and stuff. And so I wanted to really find my space where I felt like I was either taking care of myself, or I felt like I was affirming something that I was working towards, because I was seeing progress little by little. But I mean, this goes back into maybe just before my teenage years, but then of course escalating to maybe my early 20s, where I was trying to, eat healthier, while at the same time I was trying to put on more muscle mass. And that's where it became really confusing for me, because I knew that I needed to eat more to put on more muscle, but then I didn't realize that I was eating too much of the wrong food. And so that really started to escalate into me gaining weight and not the right way. And so it really pushed me and encouraged me to learn the right way of eating. And I think truly what I don't share very often, especially on like my social media platforms, which I probably should, but my own grandmother passed away from diabetes complications. And so learning about all these different diseases really helped me to sort of reframe my mindset on exercise and nutrition, because it was something that I eventually started to learn that that could be something that could be prevented or reversed. And so I think there was this heart tug for me to really take a deep dive with this. And I really started to notice when it was changing me, I thought, people need to know this. People need to hear this stuff. And I was wanting to commit the rest of my life just to help people, at least in this area. And it's an area that many people are hurting from.
Yes.
Mainly because it's something that either they tried before and then they failed, or it's something that they don't know much about. And so there's this fear of even trying. But I'll even go just a little bit deeper, just really quickly. This I have shared before, but when I was 10 years old, I was in a car accident, and I had flew up out of the seat and I hit and cracked the windshield. And so a couple years down the line, I started to notice, or my parents and I started to notice, hey, there's a little bit of a speech impediment. And though it is common in young children, it only happens two ways per this speech therapist that I spoke to one time. She said either through trauma or through injury to the head. And so this started to make sense for me, because I truly felt like there was something bigger for me, but I felt like this stutter was sort of like keeping me from really sharing what I really wanted to share, or be who I was really created to be. And so that was when it started to become really confusing, because I started to see myself, doing things like this. So I love that I'm on here. So thank you. Doing things like this, speaking to people and stuff. But at the same time, there was this fear because I had this stutter. And so what I started to realize, when I spoke on things that I loved, Cindy, and when I spoke on things that I just truly, truly believed in, it was almost like the stutter was like behind me and I wasn't even affected. And so what I started to realize little by little was that I started to notice that fitness and teaching people about this and healthy eating and all this other stuff, I started to notice when I would teach people about this stuff, it was like healing for me personally. And I didn't really catch that until later.
Wow.
And when I speak on it, I just kind of go on and on and on, So what led me to it was, first, from a very superficial level, I guess, just wanting to commit to a fitness program, but from a very deep level, really being changed through the passing of my own grandma several years ago. And then also this being a thing that I feel like, through this stutter, which instilled, insecurity issues, which instilled, some confidence issues for myself, not feeling like I was worthy enough and things like that.
Sure.
So it became a form of healing for me in many ways.
Wow, that is so powerful. I know so many people who, for example, even going back to the diabetes, and I remember reading a book years ago. It was called God's Way to Ultimate Health. And one thing I didn't know was that diabetes, if it's type 2, I believe, could actually be reversed. Changing how you eat and what you eat. I was shocked. I said, what?
Yeah.
I thought once you have that diagnosis, that's it. Aside from the fact that, God also, can heal, but I was so floored at the whole idea of, type 2 being that it's something that can be reversed. You just have to change. And I have not done the work to know, like, what are the types of things that you can eat to help change that? Are there, what are some of the things that contribute to your knowledge? And what are some of the things that you can eat or ingest to help reverse that, to get those blood sugar normalized?
Yeah. Well, first I want to mention that type 2 is one that could be a little bit more stable. So type 1 is a little bit more interesting, and it does require a little bit more of a restriction and things like that. But you want to look at diabetes like a metabolic disease, right? And so we have these constant fluctuations of blood sugar. And so we want to keep it really stable the best that we can.
Yes.
And if it goes too high, we start to have problems. If it goes too low, we start to have more problems, right? And so the key is to really keep it stabilized. So foods that are low to medium on something called the glycemic index, which is not to confuse people, but it's just this grid that sort of shows how much your blood sugar will spike based off of that food that you just consumed. So for example, blueberries may not give you much of a insulin spike or blood sugar spike as maybe a piece of bread would, or some pasta, or some cookies, or whatever it is. So really,
you're talking the language.
So really starting to eliminate a lot of those fast digesting carbohydrates. In other words, let's call them junk food, okay? And then start to implement, foods that are high in fiber, like these berries, like green veggies and things like that. People a lot of times want to have this like debate about like white rice or brown rice, and it's like, well, if you want more of that fiber and more of the nutrients, then you can choose the brown rice. But that doesn't mean we demonize the white rice, right?
Right.
So like little things like that. Green veggies, the berries.
I bind that demon, that spirit of white rice. I come against that right now.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet potatoes and yams, they have a little bit more fiber than white potatoes.
Right.
Even things like, avocados, so some healthy fats with a little bit of fiber in it, So things like that are definitely common and pretty ideal when it comes to diabetes. A lot of times people are generally recommended to stay away from like the brighter fruits because they're generally higher in sugar, higher in calories, and so it's going to start to fluctuate blood sugar and things like that. So sticking to those foods would be helpful for people who are having some challenges with that.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, and I'm just thinking, even as you're sharing this, I'm thinking of, my life. I don't know how many OHL classes you've been a part of, but, my life definitely was impacted. And, of course, there was that little bit of time when the pandemic first hit. And then I also moved. I moved to a place that didn't have a kitchen sink. I still live here now, but I had to retrain myself how to still eat better, on some of the information that we learned and applied to our life in that class. And so, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for, places that sell like the salad already made, already washed, and things like that. But really, you have to just be intentional about it. But I was thinking about myself or just some of the other people whose lives I totally see transformed, where diabetes was a thing, for a couple in our church, and both of them, still they look so amazing. I know they look so good. And so I know so many of us are so thankful to you even for investing in a huger class. Now, how did you, and when did you make the decision you wanted to be the neighborhood trainer? When did that? I love that. I'm like, I love the neighborhood trainer. And there's a lot of people right now on YouTube that are all giving kudos to the neighborhood trainer. Yes, we love the neighborhood trainer, watching from Anaheim, California. Connie Palomares is saying that. Daniel Palomares, my neighborhood trainer. I love it. Yes, we love neighborhood trainer.
Well, I'll tell you this, just to get a little bit personal. Connie Palomares is actually my mom, so she's on this show. So
well, then
she was. Sometimes I jokingly will say she was my first client ever. So I used to be the person, hey mom, you got to stop eating this, you got to stop eating that. I don't think that she would mind me saying this, but she did have arthritis sort of issues several years ago. And so I was reading up on it and stuff, and I wasn't trying to play doctor, but I was just trying to be helpful, And so we started to take out some foods and implement some other ones, some anti-inflammatory based foods. And she was really able to see a change. And so ever since, I think that's been one of the bigger factors also in really like seeing, okay, like this is for real. Like that means people can really reverse some of these things, But to answer your question, what's funny is that I was in my old neighborhood before, and I thought it would be so cool to help like all my neighbors. And I don't know why I was thinking that, but I thought like at least, and this was before I started training privately, but I just thought, it would be so cool to just train my neighbors just to start, right? And so I just thought, like, I'm going to start a blog, and I'm going to start writing on nutrition and fitness, and I'm just going to call it theneighborhoodtrainer.com. So like, generally speaking, your neighbor is somebody that you want to be able to trust, somebody that helps you sort of watch over your place and stuff, And so I wanted to instill that as a value for me as a coach, someone that you can trust and can really be the overseer of your health and fitness life.
That's so good. I love that. I mean, if you think about it in a sense, that even kind of goes to loving thy neighbor as thyself. It's like that, you just have that heart, and really that was part of your calling and what you're called to do. So I think that is so powerful. Wow, I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna, because here you are, you're a single man of God. And I'm just gonna go and ask, like, what's your little personal love life be looking like these days? Any sweet little women out in the picture that you want
to? So timely, since we're in the month of February, right?
I've never asked that question, but I'm just like, inquiring minds want to know, Adrian.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I do actually have a girlfriend. And the funny thing is, I've known her since high school. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Oh,
I've known her since high school, and we didn't talk for several years, and then we kind of just got reconnected, and now we're dating. So it's good. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, is she into fitness and everything too, or
she is? Yeah.
Now, was she into fitness before, or what?
No.
I just want to know. No, because I dated those guys a long time ago. Like, always, I love Jesus. I love Jesus.
And the funny thing is, I've never wanted to be the one who would like push and like force and kind of just like play that role necessarily, but she does it on her own. She gets up early in the morning. She hits the gym, so she's on top of stuff. So, I mean, many times, she's encouraging me even. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I think that's wonderful.
Thank
It's always good to see. You just have such a positive, energy about you. And I just know that it's a love that you have, for the Lord, but also, for his people. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So now just maybe 3 tips. Like, what are maybe 3 tips that you can leave our viewers with? We have people that are watching right now, but we have a lot of people that watch after the show's over. A lot. So, what are 3 tips that you would give to somebody who's saying, okay, like, maybe my health isn't so good, and everything he's saying, I've thought about, it's been in my heart, but I just don't know. What's the first step you would have them take? And then what are some things that you can leave with them?
Yeah, and I always love this question because especially when it's more open-ended and very generalized, because sometimes the more specific questions are a
Yeah.
little bit more challenging because you kind of have to get it a little bit deeper with the person and sort of start to get some context into their question and things like that. But I love the generalized ones. So here's one thing I want to mention is I think everybody should identify what their limiting factors are. So meaning, let's look at your lifestyle, look at your life and say, okay, so what are things that are hindrances and how can I change that or how can I work around it? Because too many times people try to really shoot like too high of a goal, and then what ends up happening is if they don't hit it, they start to feel like they messed up, they failed, and no one likes to be in that cycle of like failing and then starting over. So it sort of works against us and not necessarily for us. And then I would say start to set some very specific goals. So meaning not anything that just says like, I want to, get healthier. That's not very specific. What does health look like for you? And what does it mean to you? So specific would be, I want to stop, I want to get rid of my stomach pain that I get very chronically, or I want to start getting these headaches that I get, or I want to stop feeling these joint aches and pains that I get. So what does health look like to you? So that would be more specific for somebody who's wanting to lose weight. Start to really get down to like a number if you want to, but then from there work backwards. So to get to that goal, I'm going to work out, X number of days, and I'm going to eliminate these foods. So we really start to have to paint the picture. And many times we don't want to because it's like, it starts to become real for us. And then it's like, oh, it sounds like I'm holding myself accountable,
Yeah.
Those are good things. And we have to be able to face those things head on if we truly, truly want transformation. And then I'll leave you with this too. And many people don't really have this, I don't think, but you want to identify your why. So why is it that you want to get healthy? Why is it that you want to get better? And start to change up your language, not like, because the reality is everybody should eat healthy. Everybody should live better. But if we only start to have that language, oh, I should eat healthier today, or, oh, I should exercise because I know that I need it. But no, I must exercise because I want to live longer for my kids. I must exercise. Because here's the thing, and many people don't see this either, but many people have these big aspirations and goals, but you will only go as far as your body will allow. And this I share in our OHL program too. We will only go as far as the body would allow. So it's not motivating when you like anticipate this big motivating day, but at the same time, you're suffering from a headache all day. Like it's not motivating, you know what I mean? It's not motivating when you're wanting to do certain things and you want to exercise, but you have low back pain. And so it's really important to be able to address those things and really just face it head on. So identify your why. Why is it you want to get healthy? So the why would be, hey, I want to start eating healthier. Just as I said, because you want to live longer for your kids. You want to reduce the back pain, the stomach pain, things like that. So notice how it's not necessarily going into, do these top, exercises and diets. It can be similar tops, I guess, but I love to get down to the psychology and to the mindset and the transformation of all this, because you can have the best plan, the best program, but if your mindset is not where it needs to be, and if you cannot stay consistent, you will not see a change.
That's so good. So even if what I'm hearing you say correct, and it just takes me back to Proverbs that death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Yep.
And you hear that phrase and you have to be careful how you say it, but like stop shoulding.
Yeah. I like that. Stop shooting.
Stop shooting and just do it. And what you're saying is I must. I think that's so important. I was listening to a podcast just recently, and I can't remember who it was, but they were just saying, you have to write it down.
Yeah, make it plain. Come on.
Become a goal, because if you just say, "Oh, I wish," then all it is a wish list.
Yeah.
And so how many months after month year after year, are we still saying what we should do and not actually doing it? You know?
Yeah, and may I just add just really quick? I did a video on my Instagram recently, and I talked about the 2 things that I think people, it's important for people to really address. And it's oh my gosh, what are these 2 things? I guess I'll just give you the context. But what I was trying to explain in the video was there's many times where we don't have this feeling of like hope and certainty when we're wanting to set a goal or a plan for ourselves into wanting to get healthier. And so what tends to happen is we find ourselves in this cycle of, if we're going to try again, we're afraid that we're going to fail. And then when we do fail, we start to lose a little bit of hope. And so I think the hope kind of dies out. And so we have this fear of trying again. So anybody watching who's just in this space of like, gosh, I'm wanting to, I just don't know where to start, or gosh, I'm wanting to, but I've tried everything, because I hear these things. I've tried everything, And if you're sort of in this place of like, you're losing out on hope, there is still hope. Try again and keep trying. You will figure it out, and you will start to see some major changes in your life. So don't lose hope.
That's it. That's so good. Every time I hear that type of a motive, like that, this type of word, I always think of that song by Aaliyah. If at first you don't succeed, you have to try again. You have to try again. Try again. I don't remember all the words, but I just remember get back up. In fact, I think today, I want to say, is actually like rise up or get up day. It's one of those, I think February 1st is like get up day.
Yeah.
So today's the day to do it. And you're so right. We don't have to keep beating ourselves up over our head. And the other thing is, you were saying that sometimes you lose that hope, but also people in your life, there might be those people that are like really close to you, who have seen you, and you're back up and you're trying again. And it's okay. Like we give you that permission to say, if you see the eyes rolling, I've heard you that last year when January 1st, you was talking about, whatever, just say, thank you so much. I know you love me, and I know you're trying to be funny, but I'm really serious. I want to grab a hold of my life. I don't want you to have a hold. It's okay to say, let's have, again, even going back to what we talked about with the conversation of racism and just loving your neighbor regardless of the color of our skin.
Oh, yeah.
Have that conversation. It's like, it's time to use our voice, but in a way that's loving, it's kind, it's considerate, it's caring, it's with a smile on your face, and it's not fake, but it really is from your heart. But I'm encouraging, I know, Adrian, you're saying the same thing. If that's you, tell that person, tell those people, hey, this time I'm really going to do my best to do it. So I just need you to come around me and support me in this. Absolutely. And I might fall, and it's okay. I'm looking for you to help get me back up. You know what I'm saying?
And they become much more likely to achieve what they're wanting to achieve. And it's not going off of it's not just something that's internal, but they have this support. And when somebody else is aware and they're holding you accountable, then it sort of calls you up a little bit, which is what's supposed to happen, right?
Yes. And I can attest that, having that class for me kept me accountable. And then having an accountability person to say, okay, are you going to meet me at Tuesday morning when we're meeting at 6 or 6:30? I would always come in a little bit late.
6 a.m.,
at 6 a.m. I was like, oh my goodness. But it did keep me.
But you felt good afterwards, didn't you?
Yes, I really did. And it's interesting now because, the weight still continues to come off, and I'm not in a rush, but I'm eating right, and I'm drinking my water. I'm having a little more sugar than I should in my coffee, I'll have to admit. But I'm drinking my beet juice. I'm drinking my carrot juice.
And you know what? You nailed it. You said, I'm not in a rush. And many people are, especially in our culture today, it's like we want quick fixes,
Yes.
Oh, that didn't work. Let me try this. Oh, that didn't work. You've done it for 7 days, So yeah, that's key. That's key. Right?
I want it now.
Yeah. The consistency, enjoying the process, learning learn your body, learn about food and how your body responds to certain foods and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. And when you talked about the color, I smiled because we're talking about the gospel in full color, but I love when there's color on my plate, when there's reds,
right,
and greens. I get so happy. And it wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
I would get happy when I saw the fries and the melted cheddar cheese and the ranch dressing and the onion rings.
Hey,
I respond.
Same here.
I respond the same way now. It's like, oh, I see color. that's Jesus right there. Avocados, the pine nuts, But I will tell you, I don't like diet anything. So I still put my blue cheese dressing sometimes, or my blue cheese crumbles. I still get that on there. And, because I really do enjoy good tasting food.
Yeah. And sustainability is important too. I mean, the more we restrict ourselves, for the it's going to be a little bit more challenging in the long term, because it starts to become this like mental and psychological thing. We're restricting ourselves and like depending on willpower to really take us to the next level, and we end up selling ourselves short. And so we need to be following something that we really feel like is going to fit our lifestyle realistically, so that it can become something that's sustainable in the long term.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Fit our lifestyle. Well, oh my goodness, Adrian, thank you so much. And I'm laughing because I'm looking at the YouTube chat, and here we're talking about this, and someone's like, I thought it was National Chocolate Day. And I did. See, here's the good thing. I am going to enjoy this, but I'm having this one piece. I am going to have this one piece.
Did they mention dark chocolate?
Yeah.
That's a little better.
This is dark chocolate. If you could see my little C's candy, so I will be having this, y'all. I will be eating this after this show today.
I love me some dark chocolate though. So let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's do this. Well, I'm so excited. Okay, so your website, if you did not catch his website, is theneighborhoodtrainer.com, and his Instagram is Adrian Ceja, and then with an underscore after that. And I believe you've got a newsletter that we can subscribe to, which I'm going to subscribe to that because I really felt like, with different trainers. And of course, here's one of the things that when it comes to training for me personally, I'm already 51. So I'm kind of set in some of my ways. So it's like, I felt there were certain coaches that the way they would coach and train, that was good for me. And it didn't make me go like a horse, like what you talking, you know what I'm saying? So you have that personality for me. That was a really great. So any of you that are watching, if you don't want to just subscribe and just go to his newsletter and just do his Instagram, I would challenge you, if anything just resonated, find a way to have him be your personal trainer. You're gonna really love the results, and you're gonna get that push that you need, and you're gonna get that excellent coaching. I remember you did everything, like the back was straight, and you really, it wasn't just about how many, but it was like everything, like the form, the posture.
Right.
So all of these things, I remember that you were really good at all of those things, and I really would just listen to the things that you were saying. So
yeah,
anybody that's, wanting, do you do virtual? I meant to ask you, do you do virtual training?
I do. Yeah. So I just recently launched online coaching in 2019. And so there's a full on like software that I use. You have access to all my workouts, and then we do video coaching calls like this. I become your accountability partner, but of course your coach and all that stuff. And I create the program for you. So it's pretty much, they get access to all my stuff. So it's great.
I love that. So yes, theneighborhoodtrainer.com. This is going to be a time where you're going to be so thankful that you latched on, that you watched this show, and that you connected with Adrian Ceja, the neighborhood trainer. He's going to have nothing but love for you, and you're going to love the results. You are going to love the results. I'm telling you, I'm so thankful to you, and my coach is in OHL. Seriously, I just think about teaching the portions and how much we should be eating. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh goodness,
That stuff is important.
that's all. You
If
want
I
me
can,
to eat that little bit?
yeah, it's real. If I can just add too, I wanted to have this as an offer for anybody who would just viewed your show, who viewed this show specifically. I think I sent this to you before, but there's a link if you want to send this out. But there's a link that I had sent you to, and your team called 30-day online. 30-day online. Oh my gosh,
It was
30 days online.
not challenge.
No, not challenge. 30-day online program. There you go. 30dayonlineprogram.com. If they go to that, they'll find me on there. So that's normally a $30, just quick 30 days, just sort of a jump start. That's normally $30, but I wanted to offer a discount code to your viewers called A New Thing. So if they go to that link and they click on purchase, and they can put the discount code, and it'll mark it. It'll totally waive the entire fee, so they can get it for free. So they can get coaching from me for at least those 30 days. They'll get access to all my app and stuff. So I just want to leave that for you.
I love
your team
that.
also, and then also the people who viewed.
Thank you. Wow, that's awesome. And so yes, 30-day online program, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so we will also put it up on our website as well.
Cool.
We'll do that, and we'll put it in the YouTube with the description on Facebook and on YouTube as well. But thank you so much. Well, that's a huge treat.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
there's no, and I know my little thing was once I hit 179, then I'm up in the ante, and it's time for me to start like working out, because this has just all been by eating.
Yeah.
So,
I know. It sounds like that's going to be the next level for you.
yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, I love it. Well, Adrian, again, so much fun to have you on here. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Your knowledge, your wisdom, your heart. And we really are just so blessed to have you today. So blessings to you, everybody. Again, theneighborhoodtrainer.com. And again, he has a special on his 30-day online program. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. So thank you so much, Adrian Ceja, for joining us tonight. And we will have you back, sir.
Yes, I'd love to anytime. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
It's been fun. And I'm going to be asking about how things are progressing, but not right now.
You want to hold me accountable on that too.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was some good stuff right there, girl. Did you hear that? And there's a little discount being offered to people watching A New Thing live. So take advantage of it. Just 30 days. You cannot go wrong. Just try that for 30 days. And let's bring that website up again one more time so that if anybody said, okay, I didn't quite catch that, it's theneighborhoodtrainer.com, and on there you can subscribe to his newsletter, and on there you can connect with the 30-day online program. I think that's going to be great. And if you put A New Thing, was it A New Thing or A New Thing Live?
I think it was just
A New Thing. We put A New Thing on there, then you're going to get a nice little discount. So take advantage of that. Absolutely. 30 days. What is that? It's 30 days, 21 days to start a habit, or to get locked into your habit. So 30 days is going to be good stuff. Okay, we're almost done. We have a game, but before we do, we're going to cut away because we have a fun little ad about next week's special guest. But there's an offer that she has with her business. So let's take a look real quick.
The art of tea. Tea party in a box, an essential to making beautiful memories with the ones you love. Available February 12th through 14th. Purchase your box today.
Who's ready for a little spot of tea? I'm always ready for tea. In fact, I have my tea almost every night before I go to bed. That's just one of the nice little rituals that I get to do. My beautiful tea from Harney and Sons. But next week, it's Trish Kesmerick from Rent a Tea Party. And right now, she's actually running a special. So for those of you that want to do something a little different this Valentine's Day, or you want to do something a little special, because of COVID, she's offering her Valentine Tea Party in a box. So these rentals are from 12 through the 14th only. For 2 people, it's $49. If it's for 4 people, it's $65. If it's 6 people, it's $88. And you're going to get your teacups, your teapots, your plates, your silverware, the food stand, your cream, your sugar, the loose leaf tea, some cute little balloons, and a beautiful teapot vase. And so you can't go wrong. I'll tell you what, I have been a recipient to enjoy so many tea parties with Rent a Tea Party. And so they've changed things up a little bit because of COVID, but what a wonderful, wonderful treat. And actually, we are going to be doing a giveaway next week to a person, one winner who's going to be the winner of a 2-people Rent a Tea Party in a box. So, but that's not all. Next week, we're going to encourage you to come to a New Thing Live. Let's have your tea, your little tray, whatever your favorite bag is, whatever your favorite flavor is. Maybe it's I love peach, I love apricot, but lately I've been enjoying this one tea by Harney and Sons called Paris. Oh my goodness, so good. So be sure to join us next week. Bring your teacup. Have your little hot water ready, and we're going to have tea. We're going to enjoy some tea. Tea time with Trish, tea time with Cindy. It's going to be awesome. And then again, rentateaparty.com. For those of you that would love to do something different, you're going to do your party in a box, go to rentateaparty.com, rentateaparty.com. And so anyway, you're gonna love it. You know, when the COVID starts to decrease or whatever is gonna happen, I don't know if it's because of the immunizations or what, but when you can start having functions, you are going to love Rent a Tea Party. She's got the most beautiful teapots, teacups, the setup. She'll do everything from setup. If you need the food, whatever, she does all the different levels. And so it's just a special way. You know, there is an art of tea that's been lost. And so we're really excited to have her just to share what beautiful things happen when you're sitting around the table having tea. It's a beautiful time. Doesn't matter how you were raised, doesn't matter, you know, whatever, but it's like there's just something about having a cup of tea. So next week, bring your teacups to a New Thing Live. We're going to have Miss Trisha Kesmerick with us. We're so excited about that. Okay, we're almost done, but we got a game. So we're going to give 2 winners today, a book, The Gospel in Full Color Today, a winner on YouTube and a winner on Facebook. Woo! Okay, so are we ready for that little game? So the way that it goes, and we might do a different game next week or maybe not. I don't know. We're still trying to figure out what games are fun and what games translate well virtually. But the way that we did it last week was a game called What's That? And the first person on Facebook to give one particular image and say, this is the image that it really is. And if they were right, they were the winner. So let's do Facebook first, since I just said Facebook. Let me make sure. Actually, let's do YouTube because I'm not on Facebook anymore. So for those of you on YouTube, we're getting ready to play What's That? So let's go ahead and run that first. What's That? Let's do that little fun video with all the... Woo! Yeah. Okay. So what's that? This is for the YouTube audience. YouTube. And now I'm chiming in on YouTube. Oh, the devil wears chanclas. Her typing thumbs are ready. Okay, let's go. Show the image. The first person to guess this image wins the book. I guess we could have had some music playing here. Boop, 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 boop. Do. I think that was all done in harmony. It wasn't actually the melody. Okay, anybody want to take a guess on YouTube what that image was?
Christmas light bulb.
Okay, it's not a Christmas light bulb. Good try.
She said a rosebud.
Not a rosebud. Okay, let's try.
Connie said a red balloon.
Not a red balloon. Okay, let's try one more time. We're gonna give a quick clue. Think seeds. On your mark, get set, go. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Not a goldfish, not a rose. Boop, 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 boop. First of all, I'm an alto or a tenor. Oh, nobody guessed it. Okay, let's show what it was. It was a strawberry. Oh, I'm so sorry, YouTubers, but hey, next week we will do that. We're going to have a game every week, so every week you will have a chance to win. Okay, Facebook. Here we go. Next item. What's that? Boop, 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 boop. Do 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 do. All right. No guessers. Nobody's guessing on Facebook. Just because I want to answer, it looks like a blue bear with a red tie on. All right, let's go ahead and show what that is. An iPhone. Nobody won. Nobody won. Nobody won. It's okay. We will still have, we'll figure out a way for two people to win, because this actually really is a great book, great insight. And I just love that it's a collaboration by different people, different races, and it's biblical reflections on race and justice. So we will be giving away 2 books, so we'll have to figure out a way. We do see those of you that are on those, so maybe we'll put the names in a hat and then we'll pull them out. That's what we'll do. For those that guessed, we'll put your names in a hat and then we'll announce this week on Instagram who the winners were of the Gospel in Full Color. So, okay. So we want to thank you. Thank you so much. It was a great show. We did go a little bit long today. And thank you for those of you that have stuck with us for this hour and 41 minutes. We really are working on getting it down to an hour. But we really do have so much fun. And I'm a talker by nature. Oh, yes. Very good. Peggy says on YouTube, you should ask questions about the different interviewees to see if we are paying attention. Oh, that's good right there. I know, we've got to figure out what we're going to do. So the other thing, these are, you know, we talk about a new thing live. Well, a new thing for me this week were my glasses. My new glasses. It's this company. They're called Vogue Me, VOOGUEME.com. Can I just say, I think these lenses were like the frames were $6, $6.95 plus the lens. And I wear bifocals, but I like that there was no line. You don't see a line. You see my ring light, but you don't see a line there. So anyway, VogueMe.com, VOOGUE.ME. And then you just build if you want the blue light reflector, if you want the regular, you want them thicker. So anyway, these were a lot of fun. And I love because it's the magnification and then my regular prescription on top. So, okay. Hey, Have nothing but love for you. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, there is something there's something specifically for you to do that's new. It's especially just for you. I don't know what that new thing is, but you know. Some of you have known it for a while and you haven't done it. And some of you go, I know what it is and I'm on my road to doing it. Regardless of where you at, remember to take that opportunity to do that one new thing for you. We love you. We're here for you. Email us at hello@anewthinglive.com. If you have any prayer requests, if you just want to say, hey, I enjoyed that show. I do get a lot of really good feedback from you. Follow us on Instagram if you don't yet. I know some of you follow me personally, but head on over to Instagram, anewthing.live, and follow us on Facebook at A New Thing, because obviously this is from my own Facebook page. And are you subscribed yet to our YouTube channel? Because if not, we're going to start saying, hey, would you subscribe to A New Thing Live talk show? We want to start getting those subscribers up because we really believe that this show is something new that's so good for people and it's so much fun. We have the best special guests ever, these hidden treasures that need to be shared with the world. So thank you for joining. We love you. Have an amazing week. And I will see you next Monday night at 7 p.m. Don't forget, my little spot of tea. Don't forget to come with your little teacups next week, 7 o'clock. Have a great week. We'll see you then. Bye.
Are you ready?